We're in week 12. We're doing well. We're in chapter 5 of the book of James. You have just prayed and you are ready with your passage. I trust that you've read chapters 5 verse 1 to 6. I'm going to read it again for you. Just listen carefully as I read chapter 5 verses 1 to 6. Come now, you rich, weep, howl for the miseries that are coming upon you. Your riches have rotted and your garments are moth-eaten. Your gold and silver have corroded, and their corrosion will be evidence against you and will eat your flesh like fire. You have laid up treasure in the last days. Behold, the wages of the laborers who mowed your fields, which you kept back by fraud, are crying out against you. And the cries of the harvesters have reached the ears of the Lord of hosts. You have lived on earth in luxury and in self-indulgence. You have fattened your hearts in a day of slaughter. You have condemned and murdered the righteous person. He does not resist you. Wow. Powerful, hard words. James doesn't spare the rich either. James doesn't spare the people loaded with money. And he has a few things to say about that. Now, you may not have a lot of money, so don't block your ears and say, I'm not rich, so James isn't talking to me. Listen to what he has to say to the rich. So even if you don't take it personally, you do personalize some of it. Come now, you rich, weep and howl for the miseries that are coming upon you. He is talking about not judgment in terms of judgment for sin, but he's talking about the loss and the damage that rich people are going to face because of the way they went about getting their riches. Today I want to make one thing very clear. It's how you got rich will determine how rich you will get in heaven. How you got rich on earth will determine how you get rich in heaven. The how you got, the process is what James is talking about. And he counts the ways of the wicked rich. And he identifies the issues that the rich have, what the problem is. Okay, so let's get into that. Come now, you rich, weep and howl for the miseries that are coming upon you. Why? Because your riches have rotted and your garments are moth-eaten. The things that you have hoarded for yourself and found value in to call yourself rich, the things that you have amassed are going to be corroded. They are going to be moth-eaten. They are not going to last. They are not eternal riches. They are going to be finished. They're going to get destroyed. You will watch them getting destroyed, and the destruction, the moth-eatenness, the corrosion is going to point back at you saying, you worked to be rich here on earth. You worked to amass, but we won't stay with you. We won't stand with you. Your money is not going to come back and cheer for you. The riches that you amass are not going to come back, okay? Warning, James is not saying that being rich is wrong. James is not saying that riches, having riches is wrong. What James is saying is the perspective on riches and how you got those riches and why you got those riches all count for eternity. He spells it out in the next few verses. He says, your gold and your silver have corroded. That corrosion itself is evidence against you. And it'll eat you up like, eat your flesh like fire. I thought about that a little bit. And the way fire consumes, it kind of shrivels everything up to the point of complete and total decay. When something is consumed by fire, nothing is left. It destroys everything. It brings it down to absolute sand, ashes. And that's what's going to happen with your riches. It's going to eat you up, and watching your own riches get destroyed, you will also be destroyed because your whole life and wealth and value and significance was wrapped into that. You say, no, Pastor, I'm not thinking like that. I don't act like that. I don't think like that. He says, verse 4, behold, the wages of the laborers who mowed your fields, which you kept back by fraud, are crying out against you. One is your riches in their corrosion are going to speak against you. Their own temporariness is going to speak out against you. Number two, the people who you walked all over, the people who you defrauded in order to get rich, the people from whom you kept back their due wages, your employers, your servants, the auto guy, the vegetable guy, everyone who worked for you, everyone who worked in your service, those you defrauded and thought you made a quick buck, that person's cry will be heard by the Lord of hosts. I very rarely heard that title used for God here in the New Testament. It will be heard by the Lord of hosts. Now here's the bad part. You have laid up treasures for yourself in the last days. In the last days. These days where judgment is imminent. It's around the corner where God is going to bring. You are not living in the earlier centuries. You are living in the last days where it is around the corner that God is going to call all of creation to account. We're living in the last days, and there's tons of proof around us that everything that we hold dear is going to come to melting nothing. In those years, when that moment, that time is right around the corner, you're building your bank balance, you're building your homes, you're building your riches, and you're amassing wealth. The very wealth that is going to cry out against you saying, why did you bother with us? It's going to crumble between your fingers. Now, is it wrong to be rich? Is it wrong to work hard? Is it wrong to be rewarded with that which is the way the world rewards? Answer, no. But why you do what you do is what James is talking about. How you do what you do is what James is talking about. How did you get rich? And why did you get rich? If you think that's not going to come back and bite you, you're mistaken. You're living in a dream. He's talking to the rich people. So that's why he gets so strong right in the beginning. He says, weep and howl now. Howl for your misery that's going to come upon you because you wasted time and energy and ambition on wealth. Go with me to the next verse. He says in verse 5, you have lived on earth, here in this life, in luxury and in self-indulgence. You thought that this 70, 80 years that God has given to you is to live it up. God has planned an eternity for you to live it up. He is waiting to give you riches that He has blessed for eternity. He's waiting to give you a life that is eternal, where you can enjoy what you have been given for eternity. Never be worried about it. Being robbed, corrosion, security, insurance, you'll never have to worry about it. God is giving you an eternity of wealth and riches and joy. But you have chosen to live in this 70, 80 years as if that's all you've got. You're thinking like an unbeliever. You're thinking as someone who doesn't know the future, doesn't know God. You're thinking as if that doomsday, that judgment day, that day when God will melt the earth with fervent heat and bring to nothing that which He spoke out of nothing. You're acting like as if that day is never going to come. Rich? How did you get rich? Why are you rich? That is what James is talking about. You have fattened your hearts in a day of slaughter. You have fattened your hearts in a day of slaughter. You set yourself up for this. You have condemned and murdered the righteous person, the one who thought being right with God, the one who put character first, the one who put discipline first, family first, the one who put perspective on eternity first. You have thought of him as nothing, you have murdered him, and today he's not even bothering to resist you anymore. He's not standing in your way. He has let you go your way. He is not standing for you. The righteous man has ditched you. He has walked away from you. He does not resist you. No good news here. There's no good news in this verse, except a little bit of weeping and howling that might be good for you at just the right time. Is he talking to you? I don't know. What is the Spirit saying to you right now?